Hey, this is Aaron's teachings. Welcome, welcome. This is my new series I'm doing where I'm going to be stepping deeper and more intentionally into my role as a teacher and sharing my insights, my gifts, my leadership, my experiences, my beliefs, and uh, and much more. And today's teaching is going to be on, I think just getting, being vulnerable. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Being vulnerable about our imperfections. So I've spent the last hour or so recording again and again and again. My topic was going to be on emotions and just couldn't get it right. And I'm just sharing that I'm feeling a bit insecure, a bit anxious, uh, a bit not enough, and that is okay. It is okay to feel inferior. It is okay to feel um, like some sort of imposter syndrome, and we can still put ourselves out there. And in fact, I believe that is where people really shine. And I've just been really appreciating lately how some of the moments that I have felt most alive, most confident, actually have been the moments where I felt so terrified. I named it. Um, I named that I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I named that I needed help, or I named that I was struggling, or I let people know where I really was, not what I really wanted people to see me as. And I've been feeling really just off alignment all night, and really wanting to like push and like do this new series and seem like this polished teacher guy or human. And it's really about being a teacher human, teaching what it means to be human, to be messy, to be, you know, a shit show, to be um, angry, to be confused, to be, um, self doubting. And I've been feeling that a lot. Um, I've been doing a lot of amazing things. This week, I did a lot of really new things. Uh, I started jamming with a couple of my buddies from an open mic, and we're talking about names of a jam band group and starting a YouTube channel. It felt so good to do that, and I did that. For those who watched my first video, the other day I went to a different open mic and spontaneously performed a my first ever live freestyle rap in person, and it was an incredible experience. And I think that's I've been I started this channel, or this series, Aaron's Teachings, because I got inspired. And um, yeah, all these things are good things are happening and in my self-expression, and yeah, I still feel this like emptiness or this not enoughness within me, and it's so painful and so frustrating, and I just hate it. And I think that's, learning to love myself in those moments, and um, kind of give the nurturing and the positive self-talk, the love and the compassion and the encouragement to myself that I often seek outside for validation, uh, is, I wouldn't say it's a new thing, but I would say it is a new practice. It's something I'm really committed to, um, focusing on how I speak to myself, the affirmations that I give to my inner dialogue, to my body, to my inner child. I'm rubbing my heart right now because I don't give myself a lot of touch. I don't give myself a lot of attention. You know, um, I'm in my head a lot. So, um, yeah, just to name that I have, um, a lot of, resistance and frustration with, self-confidence or not enoughness, and also that those parts of me, I speak to them directly. Like literally, I'm talking to myself, um, at times throughout the day. Like I'll say something like thank you for sharing how you're feeling, and thank you for showing me, being vulnerable with me, and showing me how, you know and sharing with me so I know how you feel, and so I can give you this comfort, um, and just being compassionate, where that voice comes from, which is usually, a place of hurt, a place of, like a early trauma experience or an early childhood wound or a certain memory that's very painful, and to sort of give that inner child, that inner voice, the compassion and the love and the attention and the gratitude that I would, my niece, or um, a child that I was, if I had a child, which I don't, but that's been a big practice of mine. And yeah, and also practicing externally, doing that as well, in naming and not being ashamed, because I think part of this whole not enoughness thing is I feel so alone, right? I feel like like others, intellectually, I know that there are so many people out there in the world. Everyone has some sense of not enoughness, or maybe majority of people, or at least have experienced that, and often experience it, regularly, in certain situations. But to name it and sort of be a teacher of it, right? To not only make it like acceptable, but to make it courageous. And yeah, um, in my first video, I did share just real quick reference that, I did a freestyle rap at an open mic, and ordinarily for the past year or so, I've been doing this open mic, and I've been doing open mics or karaoke or things like that on and off for a couple, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Um, and I've always done poetry, and I've always sang covers and things like that. But there's always been that voice in the back of my head because I've been freestyle rapping since I was 14 years old. Usually by myself, occasionally with, a friend or two, and occasionally like a small group of like three or four of us, like doing it in a circle, that kind of thing. But I've always had this voice in my head saying, no, let's keep it safe. You've got this in your bag to, you know, do your slam poetry. You've got this in your bag. Sometimes it can be even a little bit more challenging to sing. That can be thrilling and very vulnerable for me, but not on the level of freestyle rapping in front of a group. That's essentially walking off to the edge of a cliff and jumping without a parachute, um, and then realizing that um, there's actually no bottom and you're just flying free and it feels amazing. But you know, I didn't know that, right? I went in, I'd never done that before, and yeah, I decided 5 minutes before. The way it works at the open mic is they pull a slip of paper, you put your name on it, out of the jar, and if you get picked, you get to go up to do open mic. And I got picked, and I was two people. There were two people in front of me, and I had about 5 minutes until I was going up, and about 3 minutes left. I had already prepared three poems to do. Get about 5 minutes each to perform. I picked three poems, and had it on my phone ready to go. And I said, you know what? What if I freestyled today? I'd been practicing in my car for like a good week, just because it brings me joy and it helps me process, my emotions, and yeah, it helps me create, new pathways in my brain, and yeah, it's almost like play. It's like being on the jungle gym, but with words for me. It's really incredible. And it helps me with my poetry too. So you've been practicing for, the week, and then, 3 minutes to go before I go on stage. And like, I need to just do this. Like the fear was like facing the cage of a tiger when the thought came to me, oh, I should just freestyle. And like instantly it was like tiger cage. I'm like, no, I shouldn't do it. And then I go back to this back room. There's this empty staircase, and I turn on the instrumental, and just an instrumental on YouTube. And I say, you know what? Let me just do like 10 seconds of freestyling back here just to see how it sounds to the beat. Maybe I don't even know if I freestyled. I think I just turned on the beat to see like how it sounded. And I turned it on to a place in the YouTube video that within the instrumental. It was an acoustic guitar hip hop instrumental. Um, and I said, you know what? I'll place it on that spot, and I'll just walk up to the microphone and see if I do it. I'll, you know. And I'm walking up to the microphone, and I'm like, I feel like I'm in a dream. And what happened was, I get to the microphone, I am shaking like a leaf. I could feel my heart down in my chest. I looked down, actually. I could see my shirt sort of like vacillating back and forth. And it was wild. It was absolutely wild. I say, how y'all doing? And I said, you guys are going to really need to pick me up today because I am terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. I'm going to do something that I've been wanting to do for about 25 years. I've never done it in public. I'm going to freestyle rap, and everyone starts cheering, and, there's a hush over the audience after the cheer, and it was like, oh, pin drop. And I just, I said, if I'm terrible, like, just like cheer me on, like just lift me up. I really need your support. I really like I'm really scared right now. And I did it, and I've done poems, I've sang, and there's always been some sort of like it felt not fully satisfying or not fully like alive for me. Something was missing, and it was really feeling that utter terror, but that utter desire, because it's my truth, it's my gift, it's my full on unbridled shining my full light, like my full potential is. And that's really channeling, being a conduit, and being in the moment, completely creation in the moment on the spot. And I did that, and not only did I walk through that fear, and did I name how terrified I was, and not only that, but the freestyle was about 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I actually don't know how long it was. It was like I kind of blacked out, like that Will Ferrell movie where he was uh he was in the speech and debate team. He's like, "Oh, I think I blacked out." That's kind of like how it felt for me. Um, Time was not a thing, and I'm kind of shaking right now. It's wild. I'm just going back there, but yeah, even at the end of the 2 or 3 minutes, my last line was, "I need to work on my lung capacity," and people started laughing because I brought in that vulnerability. Because literally, I don't think I breathed for 2 or 3 minutes because I was so nervous and I was like shaky. And when I rap, I just kind of like link words together and it just comes. So I think I forgot to breathe, and so um, yeah, it and I got honestly those like points of saying that I was terrified and actually shaking, and then feeling that like respect and that silence in the audience was like, that's when I felt the most love and the most held by people and by myself too, because like I'm like open, I'm really connected with my emotions, and like putting myself out there, like to be disappointed or to be made fun of or whatever it is. It was vulnerable. And then at the end, and saying the lung thing, that I got the biggest round of applause, or the biggest like many laughs and things like that, and it felt so good because um yeah, I was clearly, it meant so much to me, people could see that. And I did a great job. I wasn't my, but like what I do in the car, because I'm much more in my lane when I'm alone. But um, I was actually really, really surprised that I got a massive sitting and standing ovation. Like everyone was going crazy. And I've heard a lot of people at that open mic, and I don't know if I've ever heard quite a round of applause like that. At least for me, for sure, with any of my poetry or songs. And on top of that, I had more people come up to me and be like, "Wow, you need to do that again, more, more, more. That was amazing. Like, wow, like that was so brave what you did. Thank you for doing that. And I'm so inspired by what you did. And like, I got to hear more." And I had two people actually say that they want to collaborate with me, or I might have approached them. But just from that experience, I met a drummer who was like down to make beats with me and like me freestyle over them, and then another guy who's a singer songwriter who, and we're gonna do some freestyling and maybe to some music as well. So yeah, just yeah, being not okay and doing something anyways, or just naming that you know that I'm scared, or that I don't feel like I'm enough, but to still do it. And that's kind of how I felt tonight. in recording about an hour worth of content and just not and feeling, like I was trying to be a teacher instead of actually teaching with the lessons that were here, which were, man, you know, I'm struggling and start there. So I hope you learned something. And yeah, I encourage you to be, yeah, share when you're scared, and to do something anyways. To step into the mystery of what's beyond your fear, and yeah, to know that you might be surprised at yourself, at the reactions from others, and in how great it feels to name your truth, even if you know even if it's challenging, or a painful truth, or you just need support. In this human life, we weren't meant to do this alone. So, sending love.